was better than everybody, but that wasn't the case. God had me on this path. Like, he had saved my butt from Chula, Mississippi, and I knew that. So yeah, they was sitting up here looking, giving me the side eye, throwing shade. He stuck up. He want to be white. He think he white. He think he better than somebody. They trashed my room, ripped down all my Britney Spears posters, my Destiny Child posters, bleached all my Tommy Hilfiger clothes because I had to be sharp. So I was in all the polos and the Hilfigers, and that was when I first started getting into designers and stuff. They bleached all that crap, destroyed all my DVDs, and I just remember seeing it and just. Like, I walked into my room, focus going back here, and so this is my room right here. I was walking into my room, I just come off the soccer field, we had played soccer. My cousin went into his room over there. I'm about to go into my room. I open the door and just bleach, and everything ripped down, just immediately knocked me back to the wall. And I just went into one of those Lifetime movie type emotions. Somebody gonna get me. Call somebody. Call somebody. That was my first nervous breakdown, I think. I really do believe that. I've had several more since then. But that experience got me together because I realized that I was really hurt. All my stuff. I didn't want to all my stuff. I'm like, and then they took what they wanted now. They took my jewelry and all the stuff that they wanted, that they could fit or whatever. But, that was my bullying experience. I went through bullying all through elementary school, all through Piney Woods. From start to finish, people bullied me and wanted me to feel lower than I was projecting that I thought of myself. But inside, I felt all the insecurities that I've been carrying around my whole life, and I was always battling that simultaneously. So, 2004 comes, I'm a 9th grader at Piney Woods. The summer before school starts, I'm asked to speak before Morgan Freeman at the Village Elders Luncheon. And I just remember that being an amazing day. We were at the University Club, and I was asked to speak, and this other young lady was asked to speak. And, I just knew God had this dream in my heart for a reason, and it was solidified because here I am about to speak about my experience at Piney Woods and what I want from life and how Piney Woods is helping me get that. And right here is Morgan Freeman, like the biggest actor in Hollywood, who's also from Mississippi. That was confirmation from God. So that year, I went on to participate in AXO, which is like the cultural Olympics for acting and debate and, all that type of cultural stuff. I won 3 gold medals that year in 3 different categories. I was the first person from the state of Mississippi to ever do that. And I went to Philadelphia as a 3-time gold medalist. Didn't win there. Did not win there. But, I represented for us up in Mississippi. People came up to me and they said, you were good. You were real good. So, they were hating. It was political. I should have won that year, 2004, summer 2004. But I didn't place at nationals, but everybody seemed to remember me, and I know I left an impression. And I made a lot of mistakes. Like, I was a bad actor back then. I don't know how I made it to Philly. Like, I was a bad actor. Like, you really needed dialogue at the bottom of the screen to understand the words that were coming out of my mouth. Like, it was so bad, but God carried me, and I overcame that. And so I met this young lady by the name of Hafiza Mohammed, and she had just come from summer camp at this place called Interlaken. And, all through high school, everybody knew I was the drama kid. Shermel is an actor, light-skinned, Denzel, everybody knew that was my thing or whatever. And so she was like, yeah, you need to go to Interlaken, and you need to go to Interlaken, you need to go to Interlaken. She was an angel sent by God because little did I know that would be the next chapter of my life. So I sent in a tape to Interlaken just to go to the camp. I always started in the camp. I always dip my toe in the water, camp, kind of like Piney Woods situation. So I sent in a tape for the camp. I get a letter back 2 or 3 weeks later. Bang, thank you for applying. Congratulations, you're accepted into the Interlochen Arts Camp. Also, we would like to invite you to attend the school year as a full-time acting student your junior year. And I'm like, Mom, Dad, like I have to do this. And my daddy was not having it. You talking about the most expensive school in the country for high school. Like what people are paying to go to college, that's what this education was going to cost us. And since it was high school, you know, there weren't a lot of scholarships available. But I prayed, oh my God, I prayed on this so hard. And me and my mom worked on my dad. And we made it happen. I was off to Interlochen. And so now I'm like in Michigan, and it's like all white everywhere, there's snow everywhere. And, you know, it's like culture shock, you know? And, you know, people want to touch my hair. I'm like one of only 6 black people. And people, you know, want to try things. They want to call me a nigger and see how I'm going to react to it. And, you know, I can't get my hair cut any place. So I got to shave off my head every 2 weeks. But I'm after this dream, man, because God has me on this journey. And I'm up in here in Michigan. I went from Mississippi to Michigan, the #1 art school in the world. And they told me they never had a dude from Mississippi, a girl from Mississippi, anybody from Mississippi in their acting program. So I felt like I had to do that for all of us, you know? And we did that. And then, you know, remember I told you I would sit out and picture myself in LA, you know, when I was in the Delta and stuff. And I thought I was going to go to New York or Minnesota. So there were 2 programs that had been courting me all throughout my senior year. But in my heart of hearts, I knew I wanted to be in LA. And so this school called California Institute of the Arts was coming to our campus to scout a select few of us. You know, they don't do that for many schools. And Cal Arts is the West Coast version of Juilliard. How many of you are familiar with Juilliard? Yes. Yeah, that's like, it's as good as it gets. And so I did that with a bunch of my friends. And out of all of us, they called 2 of us back. And California was calling for me, man. Like, California came to Michigan and got me and said, you know, we're going to California. Are you going to come with me? And so I had California over here. They were offering me like $20,000 on like a $50,000 tuition. Then I had the University of Minnesota over here. They were offering me like, I guess maybe $2,000 or $3,000 more than that. And I'm like, well, listen, Minnesota, I got LA on the line, and they giving me $30,000. You know what you got to say about that? And they're like, oh really? Okay, well we're gonna give you $35,000. And I said, well, I got Minnesota on the line. They give me $35,000. I need to make college easier. My parents going to Interlochen, and I was like, you know, and they said, okay, you know, Minnesota want to play like that. Full ride. 50 G's, boo. I made my first $50,000 as a 17-year-old just playing the system. I was lying. But you fake it till you make it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what was happening there. And then, I'd never been to LA, never saw the campus, but I knew I had to go to Cal Arts. And Guthrie, the Michigan school, they flew my butt all out there in November. And I saw the campus, slept in the bed. They gave me stipends and gave me cabs to view all of Minnesota, just giving me the works. And, you know, I thought it was going to go down like that, but I have to go to LA. I just knew LA was going to make me. And so I went and did Cal Arts. And it's the same stuff. I've been bullied my whole life. Like, people just see me and they're like, okay, we're going to mess him up. You know, it's just like, I don't know why that happens. And I love people. Like, I really do. And they treated me so bad at that school. Like, they wanted to wear my ass out. Like, they really did. And if they could have had their way, you know, I wouldn't have finished it. I had teachers that were against me there. And I think what it was the fact that I was this black kid coming from the Delta, but I had been at Piney Woods and Interlochen, and I knew I had a lot to offer, and I wasn't going to get up here and act like I don't have anything to offer. Like, what kind of sense does that make? And so I would speak my mind at student functions and in class when I felt like we weren't getting enough material on blacks, because this whole thing happened during Black History Month, where I was taking this class and they showed us like one thing about Langston Hughes, and I'm like, all these other weeks we studied all these other great white artists and learned so much about them, but we come to Black History Month and y'all gonna play me like that? And so I stood up and I said something. Ooh, if I had to go back to my freshman year over again, y'all, I don't know if I would have been so strong and so outspoken, because I was vilified. The black folks couldn't stand me because they thought, for who he is, how he gonna be outspoken, how he gonna speak for all of us, and I was not trying to speak for all of them. And then the white people were not having it either. They like, and so I was just an interesting figure there. I really was. It was kind of crazy. And so I'm going to school with Tony Shalhoub's daughter, the guy who plays Monk. We're having parties every other weekend at Andy Garcia's house with Daniela Garcia. And, Condola Rashad, the daughter of Felicia Rashad. It's all around. I had my first onstage kiss with her. Trivia. Yeah. I made the best of it. Even though there were people hating on me, I just knew that there was more reason for me to be great, and more of God telling me that you are in the right place, you're doing something right. Because when you've been talked about all your life, at some point you come to learn, okay, that means I'm doing something right, and that means, they're attracted to the light. Even though they're throwing shade, they're attracted to the light. You know what I'm saying? And my job in life, on screen, off screen, standing here, sitting there, is to be light. That's why I want to act. That's why I want to, do these type of things, so that something in my soul can touch your soul or someone's soul who I'll never get the chance to stand in their presence. I love people. And Jesus, I just thank you so much. It's all God, y'all. It's all God. But I got through that program. I got called to New York from LA when I was still a sophomore. And I went to do my first professional acting show. I was on the off-Broadway, but still, I could have been on Broadway and I would have been just as excited, because I was handpicked out of a bunch of actors, and they were writing the story about Mississippians who left the Delta and relocated to New York. So I was up next to Miss Toni C. Wright, who was the first black Miss Mississippi, if you know your Mississippi history, a Jewish writer by the name of Dean Dabble, and the first Chinese American Miss America, and Morgan Freeman's granddaughter, Adina Hines. And that was both of our first show, and we became really, really close. And during that time, I got to go backstage and meet. Where are you going? Am I talking too long? No. But seriously though,